Oh, it says we're live.
Yeah, just go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. It's another Monday. We are here with the team for Black Buzz. And, so you got myself here, KP. Lamar, Mr. Node is here. He's the tech genius. He's the brains behind all the tech stuff. Right, Lamar? Don't be shy, man. You're on mute, boss. Take your thing off mute. Don't let me talk to you again, all right?
Whatever he says. Come on.
All right, so that's Lamar. Of course, we have Shay. All right, she's behind the scenes doing a whole lot of things, including doing her own thing musically. All right, if you want to hit her up when it comes to anything and all things music, do that. Even if you want a link with somebody who is in the field or wherever you are, just give her a link. True. She does it, or she can provide the link. All right.
Musical genius.
Yes, for sure. Then we have the shoe doctor. The shoe doctor is in the house. All right.
You can't call me that. That's copyright. Somebody else's shoe doctor.
We have T-Kicks, Tia K, and whatever customization you need with your shoes, she will handle it. All right.
We got a designer too, eh? We got a designer. We got an engineer. We got a designer. We got a singer. We got a preacher.
Yeah. And the stuff that you see behind her, that's her design. All right. I'm always bringing attention to that. It's not just shoes. She does those things too.
That's right. Gifts. Those are gifts.
Yeah. So T-Kicks, whatever it is that you need, just holler at her and she'll be sure, she's on social media as well. Instagram, she's on YouTube, she's on Facebook. I don't know what other platform T-Kicks is on, but hey, she's there. And we have our special guest today, man, Mr. Nigel Hunter. Mr. Nigel Hunter is in the house today.
Yes.
A Black brother.
My mom named me a champion, by the way. My name means champion, so she named me a champion.
All right. He's a graduate. I'm gonna do a formal part, and then I'll do the part where I say some things, because I go way back with Nigel. All right.
Sure.
One of the Toronto man them. He's a graduate of York University and Oakwood University with degrees in education and theology. Currently, he's an elementary teacher with the Toronto District School Board. Nigel's passion for poetry via the spoken word began in '99 while studying in Huntsville, Alabama for his undergraduate studies. He's passionate about the arts, specifically poetry and acting. Nigel was a co-developer and one of the writers of Soul, a 6-part drama that premiered in February 2009 on VisionTV. In the words of Nigel, poetry is more than words. It's an announcement to join the revolution to liberate people from mental slavery. All right. Good to have you here, sir.
Good to be here, man. Good to be here.
How's everything with you, man? How's everything?
Blessed, bro. Just blessed. Got some breath in my ear, in my lungs, so I'm blessed, bro. That's what it is. Just happy to be here. I kind of wanted to share a poem real quick to start it off.
Yeah, man. Let's do that.
This is called just a couple of sentences. It goes like this. As this knowledge increases, poems to my life pieces, every word is a thesis. Regurgitated blessing from my biblical lessons. Reality confessing that the Bible keeps prophesying truth. The only error is that this run-on sentence keeps running and running, running and running, running and running, giving you unadulterated truth. But the truth is, you better handle this truth. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. What? What? I'm like, that's tough.
I'll leave it there.
You drop that hard and you leave us wanting more.
I'll give you some more at the end.
All right. So, listen, we want to talk to you today, man, as like I
Yeah.
said, one of the brothers in our community, you
Most
know,
definitely.
doing some things and helping our people. You help in general, but you're definitely out there, you know, helping our people to be better and become better, right?
Hmm.
You lead by example, and you know, we just want to hear from you, and we want you to encourage some folks out there. Tell us a little bit about, you know, what you're doing and how people can get involved with anything that you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's start off by, you know, just give us a little bit of insight as to, you know, who you are. I did some formal reading in terms of bio. Like I said, I went to school with you, so we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
that
yeah.
little connection. We have that little background there, and of course, you know, we have the connection because we're from the block. You know, we're around the
Yeah,
area.
from the
We know
hood,
the deal.
but the man them.
Yes,
See
yes, yes,
it.
yes.
uh,
And we're not ashamed of it. We
no, we're
just
not
pour
ashamed of
back
it at
into the
all.
community.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah, man. So talk
Yeah.
to us, man. Talk to
So
us.
it's
And of
just to
course,
keep it.
you're also an author, and you know, we're
Thank
gonna
God. Yeah,
talk about that as well.
yeah, most definitely. So
Mhm,
to just keep it all the way 100. So I was born in Toronto.
mhm.
My parents are from
Yeah.
Jamaica, but they moved to Toronto and they moved specifically to Jane and Finch. So I was in Jane and
Yes,
Finch
yes.
for my first, uh, probably from kindergarten to grade 3. I lived in Jane and Finch. I went to Fir Grove, and then
Mm,
my parents were like, they don't want me to grow up in this neighborhood anymore. We don't need to get into that, but anyway, you know, socioeconomic stuff. But so my parents were like, you know, we're gonna move. I used to live at actually right across the street from Jane and Finch Mall, 2970 Jane Street, apartment 808. You know, so I was in the hood. You see it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I don't know if they
yeah.
call that the bottom or the top. Yeah, you already know. But anyway, I was there for a minute, and then my parents, they wanted to go somewhere better, so we moved to Rexdale, which is funny. But anyway, that's the context. So I moved to Rexdale, and then I lived in Rexdale for the rest of my life. And then my mom, very Christian, devoted lady, saw that I was getting caught up in the streets, to be real with you. And
Yeah.
she told me, she said at 15, she asked me if I wanted to go to Europe. And I was like, I'm going, right? So I went with my mom to Europe. Just to give you some background, just to connect it. I was baptized at 8 years old.
Yeah.
That's when God was like, I don't care what you're doing, I'm getting you out of this. And so I was baptized at 8
Mm,
because God kind of showed me that he just wanted me out of this. Like literally I had a dream, hand came out, and I woke up out that dream. And then the next day I went to church on Sabbath, and Pastor Casimir was preaching, and I heard this voice say, get up. And I looked around to see anybody else heard that voice, but it was the Spirit, and the Spirit told me to get baptized at 8. So anyway, long story short, 15, I went with my mom to Europe, and I happened to be my roommate when I was at GC was a pastor. And so I'm trying to sleep early in the morning, and this pastor's up at like 5 a.m. praying. I'm like, what's up with this dude? How he praying at 5 every morning? Anyway, I'm in Europe, and God kind of showed me like there's so much more to the world than your block or your
yeah.
hood or your street. You know what I mean? So when I came back, I couldn't be the same person I was pretending to be. And so I left my hood or my crew at 15, and they let me go because God said I gotta go, right? So after that, I left my high school. I stayed at my high school one more year in the neighborhood, and then I went to Crawford my last year. And then from Crawford, I went to Oakwood and so forth, and then graduated Oakwood, theology. Technically, I'm a pastor. I guess I'm a pastor of the people. And then I went back to school and did education. And so I'm a teacher. I got 32 kids right now, grade 6 class, awesome kids.
Mm,
And so that's what I'm doing right now. And other things as well, which we'll get into. But that's my story, where I come from.
yeah.
So I'm just blessed to be alive, really and truly.
You you use some, like, I guess we would call them tribal language in terms of explaining your spiritual development and all that sort of stuff. You
Yeah.
talked about GC for for our audience out there listening. He's you want to tell us in terms of what GC, or what's your
So
affiliation?
General Conference. This is where the global church, the Seventh-day Adventist global church,
Okay,
comes
all right,
to
right,
right. They come to meet, and they met in Netherlands that year, and I went with my mom,
right.
and she took me with a Filipino church. We traveled Europe together, and
Okay.
so I got to see all of Europe, and that blew my mind.
Mm.
Seeing the rest of the world blew my mind. I couldn't come back to Toronto and just see the block. I couldn't
Right.
see just Rexdale or Finch or Regent Park. I just was blown.
Right.
So, yeah.
So how instrumental was that? I know a lot of times when we grow up in those areas, we don't necessarily want to talk about the fact that we've had that influence, or we had that upbringing on the spiritual side.
Yeah.
How instrumental was it to have that side in your
That
development?
experience? You mean living in Rexdale or living in Jane and
No,
Finch?
I'm talking
or
about you spoke about God
that
and
experience?
the fact that the spiritual experience, not just we'll get to the block as well, but
So the spiritual. Let me just be real. I grew up in the church, right? So
okay,
my parents are like devout, or were devout Seventh-day Adventists. Well, my dad, that's another story. But anyway,
yeah.
they went to church. They took me to church every week. Don't matter if you're hungry, sick, whatever, you're going to church. Okay.
Pre-COVID, yeah.
Pre-COVID. Now we virtual, but you know what I'm saying? Pre-COVID, my parents took me to church so my understanding of God came from going to church, and my parents reading the Bible to me, or me reading the Bible. They made sure, if anything, you're gonna get some Jesus. So that's real.
That's so. And is that okay? Is that okay for individuals in some of our our communities and all that sort of stuff?
Well, there are most definitely, but a lot of them are already getting that right in those communities. Not like they're not spiritual, right? In this community, the Finch, the Regent Park, whoever there are, man, they're spiritual, man. I have friends, and I'll just be real with you. I've had friends who literally have been somebody has tried to kill them, like shoot them in the face with a 12 gauge. And they lived from that. So if there ain't miracles, like if that ain't a miracle, I don't know what is, right? So I've seen those things happen, and those folks had praying parents while they're still alive, right? So it's just real, you know what I'm saying? So the spiritual aspect is the reason why I'm alive. Let's just keep it 100, okay?
Yeah, man. All right, so let's talk about the block now. In terms, we have your spiritual side. Let's talk about your, how the block influenced you. Of course, Jane and Finch to Rexdale today. It doesn't matter.
So the reality is, whether you like it or not, the block's gonna influence you, because this is where you grow up, right? So me growing up in Finch, I was a little too young to understand where I was, right?
Yeah.
So when I moved, and this is the true story, I moved to Rexdale in grade 2. At recess. The guys at recess asked me, where you from? And I said, Jane and Finch. And they're like, okay, it's on and popping then. And at recess, they tried to fight me at recess. And, I fought them, and I stayed, I survived. And then they were like, okay, he's cool. Yeah. But grade 2, you understand?
I was about to emphasize it. Like, a lot of people don't understand it. When you're growing up in those areas, it's that intense, even at that age, at that level. Kids, they see those things and they're repping it.
This is a part of their identity, right? So it's a part of their identity. So I realized that moving from Finch to Rexdale, that, they have beef. I didn't know that. I just was telling you that's where I'm from, right? So, and then living in Rexdale is now it's weird, because you're fighting against people who are technically your brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I found out, and this is just, I made bad choices and I can accept that, but I found out after fighting somebody that we were in kindergarten together in Finch. You know what I'm saying? Which is you're just like, whoa, looking at your pictures and you're like, wait a minute, me and him were in the same class. Like, that's crazy, right? And so that whole systemic violence, man, it's rooted, man, but it's not remember that you got to realize that we're brothers at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And some of this stuff has been so cyclical for so many years, it's hard to break, right? So, you know, I now still go back to Jane and Finch and I teach, right? But
Right.
it's funny, I'll tell you, I was teaching a class and I showed them a video that I was in because of where I grew up.
Mhm.
You know, I knew the artists, I knew the rappers, whoever. And so one of the rappers had a video I was in and I shared it with the class. And the kid in my class, he was like, yo, you rep this gang. And I was like, what? I had no idea. He said the gang name and all this stuff. And I'm like, bro, I'm so old. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it was that deep rooted where he was like, nah, this guy's an op. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. But that's what I mean. When you're in the street life, that's all you know, right? And that's the language you speak. That's how you rep. That's how you navigate. In the sense of like, when I was younger, I knew that there were certain parts of Toronto I couldn't go to, like Regent Park. I can't go to Regent Park. I can't even go to Finch. I couldn't go past Finch. And if I was on the Finch bus, once I cross Islington, it's ops all the way down. So when I was going to Crawford, I was passing through all my ops, all the people that I was fighting with. I had to drive by their neighborhoods to go to Crawford, right? And that's how real it is, in the sense of, if you're involved, don't get involved. My speech is don't get involved, but if you're involved, that's how real it is, right?
Okay, so my question is, so now that you told us about your past, is that one of the reasons why you were passionate about because I know you through your volunteer work. So did that have a big impact on how you volunteered and where you volunteered? Because I know you from Black Creek Community Health Center, where it was about blacks and giving back and teaching us stuff, and we learned just simple things like how to cook, how to clean, how to be in a group community. So because of your experiences, would you say that was a big influential part of it?
Like 100%. I realized, and this is what God showed me too, is that you're a leader, but you're just leading the wrong. When I was younger, I was leading the wrong thing, right? So God was like, you got to change that leadership into something positive, right? So that's why, you know, coming back from school, and remember, that's after I went to school at Oakwood, you know, where it says, you know, enter to learn, depart to serve. Yeah. So I was departing to serve. When I came back to Black Creek, I was departing to serve, right? So that was my service. And also in the sense of, I realized that I spend a lot of time doing negative stuff, right? So I wanted to at least leave my legacy where I left some positivity, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's real.
All right, thanks
for that question. So yeah, so a lot of the things I still do, I mean, me being a teacher is still me giving back, right? So it never ends, right? Evangelism, if you want to call it, you know what I'm saying?
How did you make that switch from theology to teaching?
Why did I? Wow, that's a good question.
How did you make that switch? Yeah.
So when I went to school, I actually was doing I had double major, religious education and theology.
Okay.
Religious education was taking too long. I don't like school, to be real. I'm not a fan of school, so I was just like, I'm gonna just get my theology degree and start my life, right? So
yeah.
you know, honestly, I didn't know if I wanted to take theology. I wasn't sure about my calling, to be honest. So I was like, I'm gonna take it, and through the process, I realized, you know, and now looking at my life, I know I have a calling on my life, right? So going to Oakwood, I wouldn't have changed my Oakwood experience for nothing, man. I would tell everybody to go to Oakwood University, man. Because I'll tell you this, and this is when I was in I'm talking about the Holy Spirit right now. In grade 10, I went to Oakwood for alumni to visit a friend of mine from church. And it was me, my brother, and a friend of mine named Squat, who's not churched at all, right? We literally, and I'll just keeping it real here. We ran taxis, right? I don't know if the hood man know what I'm talking about. We ran taxis to get there. We got on the bus and we traveled to Oakwood, man. And we were there for a weekend. And when I got on that campus, man, I felt the presence of God on that campus. In grade 10, I was in grade 10. You know, everybody was friendly. And I was like, this is weird. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to people screwing their face with me. I'm from screw face, capital T dot. You know what I'm saying? We just screw our face. So it's people saying, hi, what's up? I'm like seeing all these black people, beautiful black people. I'm like, whoa, this is intense. You know what I'm saying? We went to church on Sabbath, man. And, you know, the pastor preached, altar call, all that good stuff. You know, my boy Squat used to smoke cigarettes. He stopped smoking cigarettes after that weekend.
Wow.
The brother stopped smoking cigarettes after being a weekend at Oakwood. I was like, I don't know what this place is. I'm going to school here. Grade 10, I made up my mind. I'm coming to Oakwood, right? So that was my Oakwood experience, man. And I was like, I'm coming to this school. This school is amazing. So that's how I ended up going to Oakwood. I was like, when I graduate, I'm not going to, I put York there, but I really want to go to Oakwood. So I make sure I got into Oakwood. Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of, what you're doing now, how does that take into consideration what you've done with Oakwood and all those different things? Because you're, you know, we can hear the spiritual side and the pastoral side, but we know that you're doing something on this side. You're a teacher right now. You're, you know, you're a writer, you're a poet, and all those different things. Like, you know.
So I'll say it there. I'll say it this way, and this is scriptural. It says your gifts will make room for you, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So,
Proverbs. I think that's Proverbs.
So your gifts will make room for you. So do not get stuck in a label, is what I would say, right? And so we all got labels, you know, educator, pastor, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But your gifts are your gifts, right? And so God gives you your gifts, and they are given from the Spirit, and you got to use them by any means necessary, right? So it doesn't matter where God places you, right? Sometimes God will place you in a church. Sometimes God will place you in a school. Sometimes God will place you wherever he places you, but the Holy Spirit's still in you, and your gifts are still your gifts, right? So that's what I would say, you know. So if that means you're writing books, if that means you're pastoring, preaching, if that means you're teaching, if that means you doing engineering, that means you're doing designing, if that means you're doing singing, it's gifts.
Right. But what's it like being a teacher right now? What's it like, you know?
Oh my God. The virtual world? Oh my God.
First, what's it like being a Black male teacher?
All right.
Let's try that.
Let's start there. Let's start there. So I feel, and I say this is part of my passion, is I feel like as people of color, we don't connect ourselves to spirituality. We think it's a white religion, right? Christianity is not a white religion. And I'll say that in a couple of ways, and I'll explain what I'm saying. So first of all, our identity as Black people, we got to realize that the book that was written by us, for us, to the world, right? Yeah. So don't think that when it says Hebrew that it ain't Black. You know what I'm saying? Don't think when it says Jewish that it ain't Black, right? Those are people, right? So they look all like all different people. So me being a Black teacher now, the first response is always you're Black, right? So I've gone to schools where, you know, I ring the doorbell. They don't let me in. They're like, excuse me, can I help you? I'm like, I'm a teacher. You know what I'm saying? So I've been through that whole, I'm still a Black, you know what I mean? Like, it's racism is racism. I'm still a Black male. They see a tall 6'4" guy coming to the door. They're like, who's this? Right? So that's real. I mean, I go into classes and I, you know, teach kids who they come from racist homes, or you call it white supremacist homes. And when they hear me teaching about racism or equity or those type of stuff, they get uncomfortable. They're like, nah, this ain't the curriculum, but it is. And it's the ministry of it's the Ontario or Canada. If you want to go any further, it's United Nations. You know, it's a part of the curriculum, so I got to teach it, right? So when it comes to like consciousness, that's one of the things I live by, because I've had to understand who my identity is, not just as a person of color, but also as it relates to my faith and everything else. Because the system will tell you that people of color are outside. You know what I'm saying? We're not involved. We're not human. You know, the reason why there's Black Lives Matter is because they don't treat us like humans, right? If there was real, truly equality, or if you want to call it, let's say equity, not equality, but equity. If there was truly equity, we wouldn't need Black Lives Matter. We wouldn't need none of these things. We wouldn't need the protesters. We wouldn't need the, you know what I'm saying? We wouldn't be seeing the George Floyds. We wouldn't see, you know, all these different things if that existed, right? And so the first will be last and the last will be first, but the first was the first. Let's keep it real. So I just keep it like, I'm glad I went to Oakwood, because, you know, you learn words, and I like words. And the word Adam in Hebrew means red dirt. So red dirt ain't blonde hair, blue eye. Let's just keep it 100. Okay. So and that's why, you know, I'll tell you that, I'll show you something, and excuse the Adventists. I'm wearing the tribe of Judah right here, and I did this for my 40th. And the cross is in black, right? Because I believe that Jesus was a man of color, right? And so I'm just saying, it's a part of me, and it's something I accept, and I see as, I've never been taught religion where it said, only at Oakwood, I was taught that, you know, Black people are a part of this royal family. So I accept it.
So how when you come off, like, you know, in such a strong manner, what I mean by that is, you know, you're dealing with children, especially for the young ones, the young Black ones that are seeing you, and they see this strong sense of identity, you know, knowing who you are, and you are comfortable in your skin. How do they take that? I mean, how do they respond to you like that?
I mean, the Black kids love me.
Yeah.
I mean, or the people of color love me. I would say that I mean, to be honest, when you're teaching, a lot of times you don't know how kids are really responding to you until you hear either their parents say, my kid likes your class, or they tell you they like the class, right? Because you're so focused on, you got to teach what you got to teach, right?
Yeah,
so
curriculum,
exactly, curriculum, or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, I try to just keep it real with the kids, and I don't start off with Black power. Like, let me just say that I don't start off with, you know, raise your fist up and all that stuff. Like, even this morning, I told my kids that this is what I'm wearing right now. And the reason why I'm wearing that is because this represents human rights. It's not about Black power. They see it as Black Lives Matter, right? They ain't Black Lives Matter. It's human rights.
It's a struggle for everyone.
Exactly. And let's not get it twisted. This ain't just a man versus man battle, right? We wrestle not against flesh and blood, right? So this is beyond just, you know, as you know, Pastor, you know, this is beyond just what we seeing, right? This is universal, right? So yeah.
So the kids, the parents, they got a good, they
so
give good feedback and all that.
You know, let me tell you something. God is amazing, right? So God will literally pick you up and put you where you need to be, right? So for example, the class that I'm in, hold on one second. My wife is passing by. She don't want to be on camera. So anyway, the class that I'm in right now, right? So I'll tell you, God is something, man. This parent, man, I was talking to her, and she said, I prayed to God that my son would have a Christian teacher. Y'all ain't hearing me. I was actually in school. I started in school this year. I was redeployed to virtual learning so that God could answer this lady's prayer. So that she can have a Christian teacher. What? it's crazy. When I hear them stuff, man, I'm like, wow. Thank you, God. You still see me as a son. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You still redeploying me somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's real. You know, so I see it as it's an awesome privilege to still be serving, you know what I'm saying? The King of Kings.
And those young ones are benefiting from it, and the parents are really appreciating it. And that's good to hear, man. That's good to hear. I mean, we're gonna move. We're slowly moving towards, the book and all that sort of stuff. Anybody else want to jump in? Lamar, you have any particular?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, how did two consulting group come? Like, how'd that begin?
So I'm gonna tell you all true stories, man. There was a girl by the name of Jillian Paris, man. She went to another church. She passed away though, but this girl was blessed, man. I met her at Oakwood. And she was just spirit-filled girl, man. And she just started talking to me. We started connecting. And, this girl had visions, man. She literally had visions for people and how people should move around. So when we came back to Toronto, she started this group called Together We Organize, right? And we went to, we did poetry at the Canada Revenue Building. We did all these different stuff. And it was creative kids, like creative Black kids just doing things in the community, you know what I'm saying? And so when she passed on, so let me tell you, this girl mentored me, right? She literally set up we had what is it called? When the government, you get your government name or whatever, your company name. She set that all up. She said, we're going to register this.
Register a business.
Yeah, exactly. Register the business. He said, we're going to register this business. Going to call it Together We Organize. She had all that vision, right? And so I was just there following this leadership, right? And to be real, you know what I mean? So unfortunately, she passed away. She's sleeping. And so I said, I'm going to keep that same name, Together We Organize, and start. It's what it's going to be, God willing, is really taking the gifts that we've been given and really sharing it in a public setting, right? So if you have a book, if you have whatever your gift is, right? Just Together We Organize and going out there and reaching. My gift, one of my gifts is writing, right? So, and poetry is one of those things that I use to write with. And truly, to be honest with you, man, my writing just came from me sharing God's word in a different way, right? So that's really what it is. So the writing piece is just something that, when I was younger, the Holy Spirit said to me, write. I remember this. Holy Spirit said to me, write. I didn't start writing till college, university, but that's what it was. And that actually came about. That's what it's called. Together We Organize. And the 3 is the 3 in 1. You know that already. That's what it's about. So it's really about, it's ministry. It's just ministry in another form, to be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah.
So individuals can, hook up with you when it comes to something like that.
Most definitely, man. However I can support is that, what I'm saying, I had mentors, and I guess I'm a mentor, but however I can support, I'll support, most definitely, right? And this is still in the making, as you can see, right? So I have my book right now, and that's one thing that's out there, but that's what it is, man. It's funny, anything you see on there that I've done, honestly, that was God just opening doors. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't even take any credit for any of those accolades. Like that soul where I wrote for TV. I was in a play. I'm telling you the real story. I was in a play at a Sunday church, if you want to call it. I don't call them that anymore, but it was a church that another faith-based church, and I was in the play, this Jesus play, and I was Andrew, one of the disciples, and this guy, I don't want to call him out, but anyway, this guy, saw the play and saw me in the play, and he goes, "Yo, man, that was a good play. Do you write?" And I said, "I have one play. I wrote one play." And literally, that same girl, Jillian, told me to write a play, and that's why I wrote the play. Right. So I wrote that one play, and he goes, "Send it to me." So I sent him the play, and then him and his sister, who go to West Toronto, I won't name them right now, but they went to West Toronto. They're like, "Do you want to join us in making this TV show?" At the time, and let me give you some context now. At the time, I was working in a factory called Carl Stores, like, you know, putting boxes together. You think I wouldn't say yes to an opportunity like that?
The steel toe boot. We all know that road.
Exactly. I said yes. I took my vacation time to do that.
Yeah.
And we were the last. We weren't even supposed to make it into that competition. We were the 7th group. One group dropped out, we got in. Right? It was like a competition, so the winner gets to film it, right? We went from last to first, literally. And we ended up, you know, producing this show. Keisha Shante, I don't know if you know who Keisha Shante is. She was the lead. She was the lead in it.
Yeah, apparently.
A lot of actors now that you see on TV, you know what I'm saying? A lot of actors that you see now on TV were in this show that I actually had an opportunity to create, right?
Right.
But a lot of my writing for that show was from my own experience growing up where I grew up, right? Okay. And so to show that context between the church and the world, I gave the world perspective because I stepped out. I went out there trying to see what's good. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
All right. So that's nice on the writing end, man. So how did the book develop out of that?
So funny, man. So at Oakwood, I just got to give shout outs to Oakwood University again. There was a group at Oakwood University called what was the group? There was a poetry group, at Oakwood, and so I joined a poetry group at Oakwood, and when I was in a relationship at the time, I used to always say stuff, right? So the person who I was in the relationship with was like, "Why don't you write this stuff down?" So I started writing it down, and I joined this poetry group. And, you know, I started writing poetry when I was in this group, you know what I'm saying? So one thing led to the next. And some of the stuff, actually, the Love Chronicles was written at Oakwood. The book, this poem was written at Oakwood. It just happened to be published in 2016. So I had a lot of stuff written from different places, you know, while I was going through theology, and learning about, you know, God's word and how to dissect it, or exegesis. Yeah. So that helped me to write more, and then that's how Love Chronicles came about, right? So Love Chronicles was something that happened from all the way then till now. And then, to be honest with you, I got married, and I wasn't the greatest of a man at the time. I was still a boy, and so you know, I learned from that experience. And so Love Chronicles is about, you know, God chasing, love, if you want to call God love, because God is love, God chasing you and you not chasing God, right? So that's really what Love Chronicles is about, the chronicles of God chasing you. That's Love Chronicles. That's where the book came from.
So you said it started from Oakwood, but I mean, how did that process work? You kept adding stuff over the years until you finally...
So eventually I had to look through all the stuff I wrote and said, okay, what relates to love and that relationship between God and us, right? So it starts off by saying, you know, kind of giving my own example of how God chased me, and then it goes into different aspects of love, right? So Love Chronicles is the story of God chasing you, or chasing the world. And then the rest is about, you know, love between a man and a woman, relationships. My son, there's one about my son that's called Sunshine. There's one about Love Beyond, the wife that I'm with us. I shouldn't say that. My wife. God, that came out so wrong, right? But anyway,
live on Facebook.
No.
You passed already. Don't
Lamar,
worry.
edit, Lamar. Anyway, so the last poem is Love Beyond, and that really was inspired by my wife, right? So yeah, so they've come from different places, man, to be real.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's fine with you, can you read like your favorite passage from that book?
All right,
Yeah.
we'll do that.
Okay.
We'll do that. This one's called My Pen. This one's called My Pen. I got two. It's hard for you to say that. So I got two. There's one called Social Net Worth, and then there's one called My Pen. So I'll do My Pen first, okay? All right, so my pen is, I don't write, I recite. To ignite, when the pen hits the page, it explodes. It's combustible energy, revolutionary charge to recruit soldiers in a war to revive and retain your righteous mind. So mind your business. As these thoughts download, let your listening ears be the USB key that saves this poem in your memory. I'm speaking to your spirit. Your body can get it later. I was tempted to do this with a beat, but all you remember is the beat, stretch, and the fader, but you got to get this because it's verbally atomic, leveling, listening ears, my pen, weapon of mass reconstruction. Get it, reconstructing the masses because the masses still drinking that poison. Digest so much ignorance, you fast and labeled Generation X, but you Generation Next to be all you can be. But remember, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. So who laughs last, laughs best. So I'm laughing because in listening to me, you gave me permission to speak my mind. And my mind has left the matrix, but has returned to smash the mold I call fitting in, status quo. Carbon copy people maintain society. Original people create change, revolution. So this poem, call it a suicide bomb that blows up the normal in you and the normal in me until all that's left is the original you and the original me, destined to make a difference until the world hates destruction and craves a new destiny. Pen.
Yeah. Mr. Nigel Hunter, y'all. Mr. Nigel Hunter. And that's coming from his book.
Love Chronicles.
Love Chronicles, man. Where can people so you did both of them, or you say you had a second one?
Yeah, I have a second one. So this one's more with the COVID times.
Yeah.
This is called Social Net Worth.
Yeah.
Get it? Social Net Worth.
Right.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna find it first.
Tell us while you're looking, man. Like, I mean, tell us where folks can get the book.
All right, so folks can actually so go back to my Instagram. Go back to the Instagram. Go back to the Together We Organize. Yeah. So if you go up to the top. All the way to the top. So right there, if you click on there, you can get the book directly from me, and okay. I'll send you the book, right? Yeah, it's only 20. I mean, sometimes I put 20 US, but I'm like, just give me 20. That's fine. I'll mail it to you. I'll sign it. It's not a big deal. Just want to get the message out there, really and truly. See, look at this. This is what I'm saying. On paperback, it's $29.31. So Amazon is going to charge you more, but I'm going to charge you less. And I wrote the book. Come on now. Yeah. Come on now. So show them again. Just go there. Don't go to Amazon because Benzo's going to get his money. If you want to pay Benzo, go to Amazon.
You can go straight to Nigel. Look at that, right?
Yeah. There. Go straight to me and I'll send it to you. I got copies right now.
We'll put this in the chat. It's already in the chat window, Shay. Let's drop it in the chat window so folks can,
It should be.
Okay. No worries.
So yeah, so This next piece is called social net worth. So how did this come about? Okay, so I'm gonna tell my age a little bit, but when I was at Oakwood, and this is the history of social networking. All right, when I was at Oakwood, we had something called High Five. Kenton, you remember High Five? So we had High Five, right? And then we had.
It seemed like it's old. I had High Five. I still.
Oh, you had High Five. So then you were around our age then. Don't.
No, I am not. I am definitely not.
Or she backtrack real quick, boy.
Real quick. I can't see my grades, but I got grades too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so there was High Five, and then there was Black Planet, and then there was Facebook, and then there was all these different stuff. So MySpace, exactly, right? So social net worth. Let's keep it real. Like as a man, you like women, right? So you try to meet women and so forth. And when I was in school, I went to a school where I'm just keeping it 100 right now, man. I went to a school, an all-Black university, man. My freshman year, I couldn't believe I saw so many Black beautiful women. I was blown out of my mind because of all the women that I saw at Oakwood that were beautiful Black women in university. So anyway, whatever. Long story short, I joined all these Facebooks and all these different things or whatever, but that's where the story of the social net worth came from, the poem. So I'll share it with you. All right, so it goes. There was a time when I thought there was a Black planet until this girl gave me a high five, but she was too smothering, so I needed MySpace. Then I was lonely because I didn't have a profile on Facebook. Got a message for the masses. Tweet it to get it out the fastest, as long as the platform is formed to reach, not formed to define you, virtually social. Defined by the friend count, the followers, the likes. I like that picture of you last week, the one yesterday and the one today. And next week, I'll like the new ones you post. I like seeing the new you of you so often virtually. I see you often, but do I really know you? Your pictures look good, so you're good, right? Somewhere in all of this, I feel I'm being scammed. If this is knowing you, then I'm knowing of you. No real relationship can truly be solely on Instagram. But this whole thing feels a little narcissistic. Girl, I love you because there are only one of you, divinely created, authentic, original, masterpiece. Get the picture, Van Gogh. Get the picture, Mona Lisa. Get the picture, Van Gogh. So we're meeting at 6 p.m., right? Don't call, just send me a ping. Okay, TTYL, talk to you later. Living in a non-contact society. The only contact is a glimpse from her contacts as she tries to avoid eye contact. If you want to contact me, just pin me, text me, right on my wall, instant message me, Instagram me, tweet me, because it's easier this way. I remain in my bubble of non-transparency and you in yours. You'll keep believing that the exciting things I'm posting is actually how I feel. And just in case you don't, I'll change my profile picture. So we're giving up communication for convenient communication, but we're not really communicating. Don't favor me. Don't pin me. Don't text me. Don't write on my wall. Don't tweet me. Don't instant message me. Don't email me. Let's hang out. Pick up the phone and call me so we can have authenticity and transparency, vulnerability without judgment, FaceTime in real time, where two souls meet, where connections are more than skin deep, where our masks are smashed and the real you can meet the real me. We can't accept counterfeits. Real recognize real. Real attracts real. Real loves real. Real relationship. Real commitment. Real loyalty. Real love.
Yeah.
Part of the poem reminded me of this show called Catfish. You know the show Catfish? And like,
I guess I was catfish, eh?
No, but like people are so like just used to
you're right. You're right.
Relationships online, and like they're talking for years and they haven't seen each other at all, right?
Ever met nothing.
Never met
Nothing.
a day.
Yeah, most
But
definitely.
after, they find out in the end, and after you realize it's not the person they were thinking
Exactly.
of, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
crazy.
Real relationship, right?
Yeah.
Most def. Most def.
Mr. Hunter is in the house. He's just dropping some of his poetry from the book Love Chronicles.
Bombs,
Remember, you
dropping
can
bombs.
hit him up. He's dropping bombs. He's dropping bombs for sure.
Remember my first poem, right? Don't forget it. Regurgitated blessing from my biblical lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, how is it been navigating COVID? I mean, we only have a few minutes left.
Man,
about how
you
is
mean
it-
the pandemic?
Yeah.
You mean the pandemic, man?
Oh my
Jeez.
goodness.
Bro, it's something else, man. To be real with you, man.
I mean, in terms of looking at it, it's been kind of hard on our community.
Most
you know,
definitely.
it affects our community kind of hard in terms of not just folks catching it, but also what
Yeah, man. Systemically, man.
Parents have to be doing in terms of deciding between work, leaving their kid, and back in the day that was a little wink for us, we didn't, it wasn't a big deal. We just had to do it, and we just grinded.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But, I mean, what's
nah, man, it's tough, man. Just navigating, being at home and the kids being at school, and then navigating being in front of the screen. I'm like a person, I can't sit in front of a screen for long, man. This is tough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up, I'm like, the kids are like, they need a break. They don't realize I need a break too, man. I'm like, geez. This is tough, man. Like, we were talking about zoos today, and I was like, man, this COVID feel like we in a zoo right now. They're trying to lock us in cages.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a virtual cage.
Yeah, virtual cage, So I try to get out and try to tell people, don't get used to this, the 6 feet of distance and all that pandemic, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so it's especially it's hurting the church too, you know what I'm saying? Like, that whole worship, man, like, hard to do that on virtual, man. Jeez. Right. So thank God.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I said, thank God hears us regardless of where we at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And there ain't no internet disconnection with him, so that's right. All right.
That's right, man. Mm-hmm. You working on any new projects or anything like that? Or I mean,
yes. So now you have me saying this out loud, but so then I have a book number 2 that's gonna be coming out, and it's called what is it called? I don't even have the name right now, but it's part of the name is Revolution 1, right? So So it's more about what we're living right now. There's a couple of pieces like Power to the People. There's one piece that's going to be in there, and then a couple of stuff that's going to be a part of it. So it's more about what we're living right now. You know what I'm saying? So.
Do you know specifically what is it? Sometime this year, or is it next?
Brother, man, I'm trying to balance so many things right now. To be honest with you, man, I got to get a couple of things accomplished first. Right. And once that's done, then I'll have some time to actually put those things together and kind of put it out there. Okay. Be real,
So you're available for like, people calling you for speaking engagement.
Yeah, of course, man.
So that,
man, I've learned a lesson, man. I'll tell you something, man. I don't play with God. Let me tell you that. So if God tells you to do something, just do it, man. Like, I remember one time I was supposed to preach out in Sudbury, man. I'm just telling you, don't play with God. And I was like, man, that's far. I don't want to go there, man. I was driving, my hood went up. I got into an accident. My first and only accident is when I said, I'm not going to where God told me to go. I ain't doing that. So I'm available, most definitely. I don't mess with the King of Kings. Nah.
I mean, outside of the church setting, do you do stuff?
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. Most
like
definitely.
whether it's other schools or
Yeah, of course. That's the whole message. That's all, the whole together we organize, right? So that I can be available to the globe, right? So that's what's up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else have anything else to ask the great Mr. Hunter. But yeah, man, we're just happy to have you here, man, and glad to hear you share some of your experiences.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Sorry, I'm here. I'm back.
I don't know if it was okay.
It was me. It's my side.
Okay.
Yeah. However I can be available, that's really what it is, right? So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You were gonna say something, Shay?
No. I'm just saying, like, you ask if anybody has any more questions, because I've known him for so long. I just, it's different when you see them in a different light, because he's always been a teacher and a mentor in the programs that I've been in. So it's just always great to see where it goes to.
Yeah, I know him before. It's okay. I know him before.
Yeah, you can show us.
What's that? What was the question? I didn't hear the question.
It wasn't a question. He was just showing up. He knew you before I did.
Oh, she was trying to take all the glory. Yeah, I knew him, and
Nah, man. Me and Kenton go back like I've been at Kenton's house when he was in Driftwood, yo. Like real talk. I mean, his mom used to feed me, yo. His mom used to feed me some veggie bacon, yo.
Tell him we've been doing it from then, and Driftwood is not fake. Tell him I lived it.
That's a real place, bro. Real as real. It's a real recognized real.
But yeah, the man got deported to Florida.
What you say though? He left to Florida though.
He got deported to Florida.
Deported, man. Trump life. He's about that Trump life right now.
That's not my president, but it's yours.
Yeah. Ditto. Somebody's president, not mine. You just Donald Trump to me.
Not even Donald Trump, just first name basis, Donald.
Not even Donald. I don't even give him no Donald. He don't even give us nothing. He goes the blacks. I ain't giving him nothing.
Oh, pumpkin head ass. Oh, let me not. Let me not.
I just got here. I'm working on my thing. I'm working on my things still. All right, just let me sort out my things.
Yeah, sort out your things, yes. So you can be legit.
Oh man, yeah, man.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on, man. Great.
Oh, yeah, of course, no doubt, man. Thanks for having me, man. This is awesome, man. This is great. This is good. Hopefully, we spread it.
And please, once you get that second revolution book on, contact us, because it'll be.
Yeah, it's there. I just got to put it together, to be honest with you.
Just share the word and have you back on. And I mean, it's good to have the inspiration for the younger generation, seeing that where you, especially those who's like, yo, I'm from the hood, I'm gonna live in the hood. I'm like, yo, you are from the hood, but you can elevate yourself and become something different. So I mean, you're a walking, living testimony of that. So I mean, it's good to have people like you on, showing the younger generation, yes, that's where you started, but you don't have to stay there for the rest of your life. There's so many more avenues you can actually go to and go through to get where you need to be. So it's great to have you.
No, for sure. And let me say this, man, like people who grow up in those neighborhoods, man, you gain the level of resiliency, man, that you gain from growing up in those neighborhoods, man. That makes you strong. Like you can go through anything after that. You're like, bruh, this is soft compared to what I've seen growing up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it gives you a level of strength as well, So, and to be honest, man, like some of the people I saw in the neighborhood were gifted, man. Like, when I say MCs, like rapping skills and them type of talents, man, like in the hood, boy, you see some people like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like they doing that off the top of their head. I write this down. I see people who did this off the top of their head, off the dome. You know what I'm saying? So trust me.
And other things.
The gifts are there, man. It's just
it's normally in
for sure.
the entertainment field, but we saw some gifted individuals, great mathematicians. Or there are great artists, or other
athletes.
Yeah. We saw some of those things, and we lost some of them too. But we're out, man, and we're trying to do our part.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, so
Yeah,
we're gonna
for sure.
sign out.
That's
We're
it.
gonna sign out on Black Buzz. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching us. Shout outs to Nigel Hunter. Hit him up. The Love Chronicles. Right. We dropped the link. You know, so he will get that thing directly. Support the Black brother.
Yeah, directly.
He is supporting the community. All right. Until next time, from T Kicks, Lamar, Shay, and myself, KP. See you next Monday.